Sometimes guilt feels safer than making. I was processing on this idea the other day around things that keep me from making, things that keep me out of the studio, things that keep me from actually getting in the darkroom, building the darkroom in my basement, like the things that keep me from my dreams. And I have been on a journey for many years through the evasion of my art practice, through graduate school, through having a child, through all of these things. I've been making all of these excuses to stay away from my art, to stay away from my art practice. And over the last couple of years, I've really been trying to strip things away. So, okay, I use time as an excuse. Let's do time audits. Let's look at the calendar and time block and find all of the times that I can get in the studio. I use finances as a block, as an excuse. And so let's create a monthly budget that goes to supplies. And I've done all of this work and all of these things. And that started with me crying to a coach a few years ago of like realizing that out of all of the business that I had made and like everything that I had done and what I was moving towards, I was breaking down crying, saying, I just want to be in the studio. I just want to tinker all day. I just want to tinker in the studio all day. And that was like through tears, of course. And since then, that realization, knowing that I am artist, knowing that I want to make, knowing that I have this in me, and then in that moment, realizing the things that I had built weren't exactly what I wanted and weren't exactly fulfilling because I wasn't making the other space. That's the thing. Those things, they can work hand in hand. It doesn't have to be one or the other. I'm always pinning them against each other, but it doesn't have to be that way. But to the point of today, I had been backburnering my creative practice, my artistic practice, my art practice for so long. And finally, I had removed all of these barriers. I had been working on how I think of myself and look at myself and all of the voices that I've gotten from my past of what an artist is and what an artist isn't and what I need to be and how I need to show up, and breaking down all of the voices from art school of how to show up and what it has to look like and why to make work and why not to make work and what it has to be, like framed things on the wall of the gallery. And I still wasn't prioritizing my space. I was writing down all of these ideas. I still wasn't getting in the space. And I hosted this creative salon at one point in my house with a lot of my creative maker friends. And my share, it came like to my share. We had 12 people and we actually had the space and time that night for all 12 people to share. And it came time for my turn. And what I shared was like, I just want to make so badly. I just want to make so badly, and I'm not doing it. I have all of these excuses and all of these things in the moment, but I know that I've done the work around those things. I know that those aren't real excuses. Those aren't the real reason that I'm not doing this. And I was saying this and I started crying, and it was like very dramatic, and not to make fun of past me, but it was a little bit like, in retrospect, it was a little bit of a performance, I think. It was a little bit of like, it was soothing to me. Like, it felt good to talk about this, and it felt like pure and like righteous to like just desire the art. But then also this like martyr or this like victim of like, but I just can't do it. And one of my friends, it's a collage artist that lives near me, he goes, you just have to do it. And I hated that. I hated that. In the moment, I was like, easy for you to say, like, you don't face all the drama that I face, like, and all of the excuses, like some of his identity characteristics that might make it more accessible or not or whatever. Like, in the moment, I literally was like, like, how could you just say that I just have to do it? It's not that simple. Even that night, like, how like when you have people over and it's a big potluck and you like move through the night and everything. And then like, maybe this is just introverts or neurodivergents, but like then once everybody leaves, I'm like snacking on the things that are left and like just processing, like staring at the dirty kitchen, just like processing all that happened and all of the conversations and all of the things that were said. And so I was doing that, and or like on the couch watching some stupid show afterwards to just like release. And I was thinking about what he said, and I was like, he's right. Like, he's absolutely, I can hate it as much as I want to, but that's going to keep me stuck. Like, he's right. And so what was happening there? I mean, I think I said it in the indulgence of like even talking about it in that way was like satisfying to me. Like, oh, look at me. I just want to do the thing, but like all of these things are in the way, or my trauma's in the way, or like I can't do it because of this, this, and this. And for someone to just be like, you just got to do it, babe. It broke open the facade or the guilt as the placeholder for the process. So I was actually, and this might feel like a jump for some folks, but like bear with me, I was getting satisfaction on some level from that guilt. So I say, I just want to be in the studio. I just want to be in the studio. I just want to tinker in the studio all day. I just want to make, I just want to make, I just want to make. And I can go to all these coffees and tell my friends that. And I get condolences, I get understanding, I get conversation, I get that. But I also, what is happening in that is I say I want to do it and I'm still not doing it. So there's this inner piece that's like, I've made a promise to myself that this is what I want. I found that this is what I want. Oh, but I'm not doing it. And I'm not doing it today. And I'm not doing it today. And I'm not doing it today. I heap up on myself this guilt and this shame of, one, that I'm not trustworthy, that the things that I want to do and that I desire are not worth it, and potentially that I'm a worm. I'm a worm. So there's this loop that is created, this guilt loop of the every day that I don't show up, the stakes get higher. Like, I can beat myself up more. I can hold it against myself more. I can try to use it as evidence that I am or am not an artist. And then it gets heavier and heavier. And then I don't show up, and it's reinforcing. Like, it's like this loop. It's reinforcing. And the heavier that weight, that guilt, and that shame gets of like, not showing up, then it's harder for me to actually show up because the stakes get higher. And then the guilt shame thing it begins to feel like something. It has this emotional roller coaster that is not nearly as satisfying, but mimics the emotional roller coaster of the creative process, me being in the studio or the darkroom. And I get these highs and I get these lows, and I get this indulgence of telling friends that I just really want to make. And then I get this heartbreak of oh, I didn't do it again. And it starts to have I begin to start having this relationship with the guilt and shame. And it begins to be satisfying in that way because it's living, it has texture. It's this thing that I'm caught up in. And then it takes the place of my practice, but it has no return. The showing up to coffee and telling my friends, I just want to make, and then the satisfaction of not doing it. And then also let's talk about the moment of relief and satisfaction to some extent of not showing up, of bailing. You all know that, well, maybe not all of you, but you know that feeling of when you have plans and then you bail. And that maybe this is an introvert or neurodivergence thing and overwhelm and I don't know. But that moment of you bail on something and you get this especially something that you've been dreading or you just don't have the energy for, and you bail, you send that text that's I'm not gonna do this. And then you get this I can do whatever I want with this time. This satisfaction, this good feeling. You get that a little bit from the I just want to make in the coffees with your friends, or the salon, the creative salon that I was sitting in. And I'm I just want to make to all of these other creatives that are making or kind of not making or whatever. And I'm all these feelings, but it's all of the cost of trying to be in the creative process and trying to change my habits and my patterns so that I show up. And then none of the payoff, the true payoff. So pulling something out of the developer, like pulling something, like it was seeing a painting, like my partner's been oil painting, seeing the way that the paint goes onto the surface, or finding out that he can mix that one color again, or like those little wins, throughout the process are so much more and so much better than those tiny, tiny, tiny satisfactions or fulfillments that we get from these like little indulgences of like bailing on ourselves, or getting coffee with the friend and saying, I just want to make her, I want to make her, like in front of people or like on social media, and being like, I just want to be creative. Like those are so small in comparison to what we actually get from being in the creative practice. So not only are we in the relationship with the guilt, but the guilt serves us. The guilt is serving us in some way. It was serving me. It was serving me in that I can indulge in the conversation. I can do the hard, beautiful work of naming that I want to create, and that's what I want to spend majority of my time doing. But I don't have to do the vulnerability of showing up and making the things that I said I'm going to make, right? So it's serving you. So going back to that creative salon, when I sat there that night and I was like crying and I was like, I just want to make, I just want to make, I just want to make. How do I make? Like, what do I do? I've done all of the things. And for my friend to just look at me and go, you just have to do it. He was so right. He was so right. And I'm so glad that evening, like it was quick for me, either that evening or that next day, I was like, he's right. And I started trying to get in more action to be able to just do the thing. So if you are using guilt and shame as a placeholder for the emotional experience of your creative practice, you can stop. You can stop. You can just make.